Hi, good evening, everyone. Hope I'm audible and you're all able to see my screen. All right, thank you, folks, for confirmation. Welcome to Coding and Programming Online Workshop. This workshop focuses on art of programming, the best proven ways to build logical thinking and problem-solving skills for programmers. It also helps to build the programming mindset. I hope you are all super excited for this workshop, isn't it, folks? Wonderful. Awesome. Let's get into the workshop without further delay. The reason for this workshop is software developers, software testers, database engineers keep asking me the question how to improve the logical thinking and problem solving skills to improve or to become super awesome programmer or coder. And here I am with super magical tips and tricks. And you're going to get the answers for all your questions on coding and programming. All right, these tips and tricks I've gathered from my training experience. I do train for freshers, intermediate, and experienced programmers in corporate companies, and I do work in the MNC software company. I've also interacted many best coders, programmers across the globe, hoping that these tips and tricks which I'm going to provide you further must be helpful to improve your programming skill, right? So let's try to understand the skills now, right? The first tip is one must learn any one of the programming language. Syntaxes very well. Programming languages like Java, Python, PHP, Perl, any one of this. It's very important to understand basics correctly. You no need to remember syntax in code. You must understand those, right? So what is the first tip, folks? Must learn any one of the programming language. All right. This is the first tip. And the second is practice coding continuously. Practice coding continuously with lots of patience. All right. What does this mean? Especially when initially you start coding, you might get frustrated if you don't get the correct output, if you don't get the correct result. But keep coding. Don't stick on to one program. If you executed one program successfully, then it doesn't make sense you keep on executing for a number of times, right? Just move on. Try to understand many programs, right? You practice many programs and those makes you perfect. Generally, beginners do write some programs and code, and then what happens is that when they don't get the result, they just give up. We should not do that. After coding, let's say 50 programs, you might start understanding the logic building skill, and you might understand the pseudocode building skill, and you can convert that into the coding, and you start coding by your own, right? So we need to keep practicing continuously with patience. All right. And the third tip is keep coding on daily basis. Keep coding on daily basis. What you can do is take one simple problem statement, simple program or a problem. Let's say add numbers between 0 to 100. First, try to solve the problem by your own using your past experience. Then compare your program or code with the others. To do that, you know, you can just tweak, right? You can just compare it and try to tweak your code and check if you can different results, if you can get the different results, right? Then you face a lot of challenges, but when you solve them, that brings a huge confidence in you. Don't be scared to make mistakes and to experiment with steps you don't know. Do errors, keep trying, keep learning, right? So I never seen a person who got the program result at one shot, or who learned everything, all these programming concepts, logics, and everything without getting an error, without making a mistake. We are all human beings and we do commit mistakes, right? But we should learn from those mistakes, right? So this is the third tip. And the fourth tip is keep checking, keep checking others' code in, let's say, Stack Overflow or GitHub, and online repositories or online websites, correct? Websites. But keep in mind, you should always code more and read less. All right, folks. So that's what you need to do. This is the fourth tip. And the fifth tip is write an algorithm for the problem. You need to write, you need to design algorithm for problem and check the steps if those are going to give the desired result or output. If any changes, modifications needs to be done, you can do it, right? And what you do is dry run your code many times and figure out the problems before you go ahead and actually do the coding, correct? So this is the fifth tip. And the sixth one, write the pseudocode. Write pseudocode. All right, folks. What happens is once you have the algorithm steps, what next? Next is to design pseudocode. before writing the actual program. If any errors, fix it so that in turn it saves a lot of your time and it minimizes the errors in your actual code when you start coding. Correct? This is the sixth tip. And the seventh one is, in fact, you need to play with your code by tweaking and executing and analyzing the outputs, right? So you need to play with your code by tweaking and analyzing results or the output, right? So this is the seventh tip, folks. All right, and the eighth tip is analyze your error messages, right? Analyze your error messages, right? So what happens is when you keep coding and executing the programs, if they fail, you don't get the desired output or the result. Instead, you get the red text error messages. Don't be scared of error messages. Just try to read the error message and you go ahead a step and read the error message line by line. Make sure that you understand what mistake you did and why you did that mistakes. In fact, error messages are very useful to do analysis in what's wrong with the code, right? So you have to master the art of fixing the errors if you want to be a super programmer, right? So understand the error messages and try to fix it. If you master it, you are going to be a wonderful, super awesome programmer. Why I'm telling this is when I do corporate training, programmers, learners in companies, what happens is they just come up to me with the error message saying, this program is not working. Can you just help me to fix the errors and make it working? And sometimes they come up to me even without having a look at the error message at least once. Before I go ahead and look at their code, I will ask the purpose of the programming, goal of the program. Why did they or why did he or she develop the program? Also, I will ask them to break it down into simplest possible units. Break that big problem into simple, pieces, chunks. That makes you to work on that program easily, because if you think as a big or a whole program, you might scale, you might think how to solve it. But if you make it units, small pieces, it's easy to write the code for that. You build the steps, you build the logic, and you build the pseudocode, and you can easily write the program. Correct? So when I go through the error message with them together, then they only figure out the error and they fix it right in front of me. What I say is, before you come up to me or to go to anybody or to search in Google even, right? Just go through the error message once and try to fix by yourself. If you fix it by yourself, then it saves a lot of time for both of us, right? Just copy and paste the error message in Google and checking for solution and spending huge time for a simple problem. It doesn't make sense. Instead, you can read error message, you know, um, in that you can find the error line number. Go to that line number in the program. Check, there might be common errors like missing braces, typos, syntax, simple errors, something like that. You can fix these errors easily by yourself. So by doing this, you build error fixing skill, and that's going to be very great skill set in programming, right? And you never forget that error, and you can fix quickly if the same error occurs in the future programs. All right, folks. So this is the tip number 8, and it's so important, right? So I always, in the training or in the offline or online, what I say is, if someone says me that my program is not working, I'm getting error message, I really congratulate them, because they get an opportunity to fix that and learn a lot out of it. Correct? So you must not scared of it. Instead, you feel happy. You feel you should think that you got an opportunity to fix that problem. Right? So this is the tip number 8, and it's so important. Tip number 10 is, right, build this simple project for yourself. Build the simple project for yourself, right? After learning the coding, after practicing a lot, after doing all this solving problem, coding a lot, right? So once you understand the fundamentals of the programming, logic building, then you can start building the project. I don't want you to build a big enterprise project. What you need to do is you need to build a simple project, right? The moment I say you need to build a simple project, I've seen in companies, even on the online trainings, that people don't agree with that. The reason is they think that it requires a lot of effort, right? Project work is not just coding. I understand it requires some own effort. It requires a lot of effort, but think in the other side, think in the other way. What happens is you learn a lot by working on the project. When you do work on project, you learn a lot, and you do a lot of mistakes. You learn from those mistakes. That's going to build a tremendous confidence and tremendous programming ability in you, right? Very important thing is you need to keep programming by your own, because you cannot just learn the programming. You cannot just master the programming or coding just seeing someone's code or just watching some videos or attending some conferences, correct? You need to actually start writing the code. You can start writing the code. How? You can you can take a pen and white paper and write down the algorithm, then the pseudocode, and then you can write the actual program. right? This is a great practice, folks. When I started programming, I used to do a lot. If you have a whiteboard, take a marker and just write the logic on the board, just write the code on the board. It gives a great practice and it gives a great understanding that particular program, right? So it's not that you just need to go to the machine or laptop and open the editor and write the code, right? So even this works better. Understand that. Great, folks. So this the 10th one. What you need to do is basically, so you need to build the all right, so the a great project, right? So you need to build the great project. And so there's a 10th tip. What I need to do is start coding with simple programs, simple or basic programs, right? So what happens is I've seen, right, many times people try to try to code, try to program a very complicated problem, and they won't be able to solve that problem. And what happens is they stop learning the program. They think that the programming is very hard, coding is very hard. In fact, they're not going in the systematic way. First, you need to solve the simple programs, enough simple programs. Once you used to it, once you hang on to that, what you can do is then you can gradually increase the complexity of problem or the program, and you really enjoy the coding if you do in this passion, in this order, right? So it's so important, guys, go from the basic and then to the intermediate and then the advanced, correct? So this is the tip number 10. And tip number 11 is, right, so at times when people start coding, programming, people feel stressed, frustrated, and especially when they are debugging, when they debug or um, and fixing the errors. But actually, I tell them to have a fun. For you stressed yourself, frustrated yourself, this is just a coding. Enjoy it, right? Because I do the same. I really love coding and I do have fun when I do the coding. One must enjoy the coding. What happens is people, at times people forget that they love the coding. They willingly came for the coding and they are doing coding, right? So you must enjoy the coding, and not only coding, you must enjoy the work, whatever you are doing it. Otherwise, it's of no use. And keep coding regularly, and don't compare yourself with the other coders. What happens, other coders may be having more experience and they might do it quickly, right? They might write the code faster, thinking that, saying that you think that I'm not able to do that, and you think that, you know I'm lacking in something. Actually, that's not the case. The case is that person might be having huge experience. He might have worked on different kind of projects, right? So one must not compare with the others when we start coding, when we are coding, right? So we should keep our rhythm of coding continuously till we get the mastery, right, folks? Cool. So that is one of the important aspect what I tell to the people when they start learning coding, when they start doing coding. Have fun, just relax, enjoy it. Right? I understand sometimes it might not work. Right? You get wrong output, you don't get the desired output, and you're trying here, there, you're trying all the possible ways, and you don't get the result. What you need to do is you just need to take a quick break. No, just take a break, have some coffee or tea, come back with a fresh mind, and start thinking. You know, start searching. The most valuable resources or the help. Definitely, you solve the problem, right? So, but you should have an interest, and you should love that work. You should not think as a burden, or you should not get a frustration. Correct? As I said previously, I just love coding and programming, right? Especially Java and Python. I never felt tired if I do coding even continuously for 10 hours a day. And many of my corporate colleagues, friends, and trainees who have gone training by me knows that how I enjoy the coding, and I make sure that even they enjoy the coding, right? So this is the most important. Enjoy the coding, right? Instead, don't get stress, frustrated, right? So these are all the 11 most important tips to the learners, tips to the programmers or the coders who wants to improve their logical thinking and problem solving capability, right? So what I made you to understand is errors might come, right? Learn the new things, do the errors, do the mistakes, learn from those, keep learning, right? Keep figuring out what went wrong, search the resources, contact the right people. Definitely they help you. In case of these two programming languages, you can contact me, right? So I can help you, right? Not only me, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of resources available in the world, right? So make use of all these resources, and if you follow all these 7 tips which I told you, definitely one can become a super awesome coder, the best coder, right? This is the proved, you know if someone follows this all 11 steps, and if they don't get a result, trust me, you can reach out to me. I'm sure if they follow this 11 steps, you definitely get mastery in programming. How I explained. And I've seen many people whom I trained 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years back even, they are very good in coding. Means I used to ask them to follow all these steps, and people who are in the good position, they even follow these steps, and it led them to successful programmer, right? I hope these all tips will definitely help you if you follow properly to become a successful or a super awesome programmer or coder. All right. And now just keep in your mind, no special qualification needed to be a good programmer, the best programmer, right? Anyone who understands, who follows, who implements all these 11 tips, they can become a super awesome coder. We don't need any kind of a degree, right, to learn the program. or any kind of a formal education or something like that, you can just understand this 11 steps and start learning, right? Initially, it's not going to be so simple, folks. I know it very well. I understand that pain. But once you cross that phase, you really seriously enjoy your coding, correct? So that's what I suggest people on daily basis, online, offline, in companies, the people who are freelancing, who are working, even students, and they got huge benefit out of this 11 tips, right? So I hope you utilize these tips and um, you know get successful in your coding journey, programming journey, and if you after down the line you will be a successful, super awesome coder, right? Now, so what I've done is I have recorded this workshop for benefit of all the programmers out there, learners out there. This is the first day of workshop, folks. We'll continue this workshop tomorrow. We move into the second day, and in tomorrow's workshop, I will write the code by implementing all these tips and tricks which I mentioned you, which I described you, all these 11. And I will literally show you taking a complicated program problem, and I build first the algorithm, then the pseudocode, then I write the code, then I get the errors, and I try to analyze that. I try to show you how to do the analysis of errors, results, and I'll show you how to fix those errors, taking different complex programs, even starting from basic programs, then intermediate program, and then the advanced or very complicated programs. And this journey is going to make you a super awesome programmer. You need to follow the, and what happens in the tomorrow's workshop is you are going to give, you are going to do the live coding with me. I'll be explaining, I'll be telling you the logic, I'll be explaining you the pseudocode, and I will ask you to put into the real-time program. And trust me, you definitely going to execute it. You're going to execute it, and you get the errors, you get the results. So that process, actual taste of programming, coding, you're gonna get from tomorrow onwards. All right, folks. So, right, one important suggestion for all the folks out there, programmers out there, learners out there is don't just see someone's code. It doesn't mean that you don't see the code. Don't just see the code. See the code, try to understand it, and you do write the code, execute it by your own. Then you get the exposure. Then you gonna become the super awesome coder, programmer, right? So even I have seen many times, that. So I see the a complicated problem in my company or the project, and the moment I see that it might sounds me simple. Hey, this is simple because I have worked on the previous project and I can implement it easily. But actually, when I go to the editor, when I open the editor and when I start writing the code, it's not going to be that easy how I expected, how I thought. Because when I do actual coding, even I get a lot of errors and I have to fix those errors because that's the project specific problem. I might have worked on the previous project, but there could be a difference, right? So that's how we need to keep learning, keep fixing errors, and getting the mastery in programming or coding. All right, folks. So don't just watch the videos and see the course. You do by yourself. You do coding programming by yourselves, right? So that's what I just wanted to tell you folks, and just want to say all the very best for your coding or programming journey. um, Hope you like this session. You hope you like the workshop, today's workshop, and please subscribe, like, and share this video so that I can keep sharing my knowledge, you know, keep, building different videos so I can share the videos of my coding and programming workshops, even trainings, everything with you. All right, folks, keep waiting for the next video on coding or programming. Till then, bye everyone. So thank you for watching this video. Have a good one.